You know that moment when you open your drawer and realize you've accidentally started a GPU museum? Yeah, that's me. I've got graphics cards from every era. Some legends, some absolute disasters, and they've just been sitting there collecting dust. Selling them, too lazy. Throwing them away, too painful. So I figured, why not torture them instead? That's when it hit me. Let's take every single G-Bike U I own and throw them all into one game to see what still holds up. And not just any game. We're talking about Fortnite. The game that can run on a potato, but still melt your PC when it wants to. From ancient relics to modern mid-tier beasts, we're putting them all to the test. So grab a snack, because today I'm playing Fortnite with every GPU I own. Now, before we start swapping cards like trading stocks back in 2017, I've got to be honest. These aren't high-end GPUs. I don't have a shiny 4090 or even a mid-tier 4070 sitting around. What I do have is a pile of old, slightly sketchy graphics cards that have been collecting dust for years. So yeah, this isn't about raw power. It's about chaos, nostalgia, and seeing which of these forgotten relics can still survive a round of Fortnite. So why Fortnite? Honestly, it just makes sense. It's one of those games that can run on almost anything, from a toaster to a full-blown gaming rig. It's not too light like Minecraft, and it's not painfully heavy like Cyberpunk. It sits right in that sweet spot where every GPU shows its true colors. Before we get into the fun part, here are a few quick ground rules. Every GPU will be tested on the exact same setup. Same CPU, same memory, power supply, storage, and the exact same version of Fortnite. We'll start testing from the weakest graphics card and work our way up to the strongest one. For each card, I'll begin on the lowest settings, then gradually increase them to see just how much it can really handle. The system is running on a B760 motherboard, paired with an Intel Core i5-12600K. It's got 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 500 gigabyte SSD for fast load times. Next up, we've got a card that's probably been inside more office PCs than gaming rigs. The legendary NVIDIA GeForce GT 730 with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory. Don't let the name fool you though. This thing came out back in 2014, and it was never meant to be a gaming powerhouse. It was basically NVIDIA's please don't use integrated graphics option. Still, this version, the one with GDDR5 memory, is the best of the GT 730 lineup. It's miles faster than the DDR3 models, runs cooler, and actually lets you play lightweight titles without crying. First, I decided to warm things up by testing the GT 730 with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 ROM on low settings. When jumping out of the bus and loading the large map area, frame rates dropped to around 20 frames per second. During normal movement, it climbed to just over 40, but once the shooting started, it fell back to around 30 frames per second. Then I pushed it further by switching to high settings. The GT 730 ran at 100% load, with temperatures hovering around 63 degrees Celsius, struggling to maintain just 18 FPS. It was clearly running at its limit. Good enough for very light gaming or casual use on old hardware, but far from smooth for Fortnite. Next up is a card that got a lot of hate over the years. The GT 1030, 2 gigabytes of GDDR5. Released in 2017, it was NVIDIA's ultra-budget option for people who just wanted something better than integrated graphics. Let's see if this forgotten GT 1030 can finally redeem itself in Fortnite. At low settings, the GT 1030 with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 VRAM delivered around 90 FPS in Fortnite. A huge leap compared to the entry-level cards we tested earlier. Gameplay felt smooth, responsive, and surprisingly consistent, making this little card a solid choice for light competitive gaming at 1080p, as long as you keep the graphics settings modest. After switching to high settings, this GPU dropped to around the mid-20s in FPS. The game was still playable, but noticeably less smooth, showing that the card was being pushed close to its limits, once higher visual effects and textures were enabled. Now we're saying goodbye to the GT series, and stepping into the GTX era. The GTX 750 Ti with its 2 gigabytes of ROM marks a serious step up, not just in performance, but in presence. Unlike the tiny cards we've seen so far, When it launched, the 750 Ti changed what people expected from budget gaming. Now, more than a decade later, let's see if the GTX 750 Ti still has some fight left in Fortnite. At low settings, the GTX 750 Ti, 2 GB of ROM, delivered around 80 FPS, slightly lower than the GT 1030. But the overall experience was noticeably smoother. Frame pacing and frame time stability were better, with consistent GPU utilization, fewer micro stutters, and smoother motion throughout the match. It's a clear sign of stronger driver optimization and superior rendering stability, even with that small drop in average frame rate. After switching to high settings, the GTX 750 Ti, 2 GB of ROM, dropped to around 30 to 35 frames per second. The GPU was running at full load, clearly showing that it had reached its performance ceiling. Frame delivery became less consistent, with visible dips during combat and heavy visual effects, confirming the card's limited bandwidth, and 2 GB RAM constraint under higher graphical workloads. Alright, let's switch things up a bit and move over to the red team. This is the RX 550 with 4 GB of GDDR5 RAM board. AMD's entry-level card designed for casual gamers and esports players. It's quiet, efficient, and packs double the VRAM of the 750 Ti. But the real question is, can it keep up in Fortnite? Let's find out. At low settings, the RX 550 4 GB of RAM delivered around 100 FPS during normal movement, but dropped to roughly 70 frames per second in combat, showing stable and efficient performance for a low-power budget GPU. When switched to high settings, the RX 550 dropped to around 30 FPS, a bigger hit compared to the GTX 750 Ti, which averaged around 33 frames per second under the same conditions. Despite having more VRAM, the RX 550's weaker core performance and limited memory bandwidth held it back in heavier graphical scenes. And now we're jumping up a tier to something that truly defined mid-range gaming for years, the GTX 1060 with 3 GB of RAM. This card was a bestseller back in its day, known for delivering smooth 1080p performance without breaking the bank. With solid efficiency, great driver support, and reliable temperatures, it became the go-to choice for countless gamers around the world. At low settings, the GTX 1060, 3 GB of ROM, averaged around 170 FPS, peaking above 200 during normal movement and dipping to about 150 while building structures. After switching to high settings, performance dropped from around 170 to roughly 80 frames per second. Despite the decrease, gameplay remained smooth and visually consistent, with stable performance and no noticeable stutter. A solid showing for a mid-range classic. Next up, we've got the RTX 3050 with 6 GB of RAM, a card that stirred quite a bit of controversy when it first launched. Many gamers felt the price didn't match the performance, sitting awkwardly between budget and mid-range. Still, it introduced modern features like ray tracing and DLSS to entry-level builds, making it an interesting step forward for affordable RTX gaming. So now, it's time to find out if the 3050 finally lives up to the hype. At low settings, the RTX 3050 6 GB of RAM delivered an impressive average of around 180 to 190 FPS. Frame pacing was smooth, GPU utilization stayed efficient, and temperatures remained stable, showcasing excellent optimization for 1080p competitive gameplay. When switched to high settings, the RTX 3050 6 GB still maintained around 100 FPS on average. And finally, we've arrived at the last card in this lineup, the GTX 1080 with 8 GB of RAM. This was the dream GPU for countless gamers back in 2016, offering near flagship performance at a price that didn't completely destroy your wallet. So now, let's see if this legend still has some fight left in. At low settings, the GTX 1070, 8 GB of RAM, outperformed the RTX 3050 by roughly 10 FPS, averaging around 190 to 200 FPS. After switching to high settings, it maintained around 110 to 115 FPS. Despite the heavier graphics load, performance stayed impressively stable, so showing the card's strong balance of power and efficiency, even years after its release. After testing all these GPUs, it's clear that even older or budget cards can still deliver playable performance, if you tweak the settings right. Each has its own strengths, quirks, and limits, but that's what makes testing them fun. In the end, it's not just about FPS, it's about curiosity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.